611 An Introduction to God. Torah Mizmowr. Torah's Song. 12. Malachi, my messenger, the last prophet. The last word we have from Yahowah regarding his Torah was reported by Malachi. His name is from Malach, and it means my messenger. His witness begins by explaining the role he, himself, played in providing us with this message. The pronouncement, Massa, the prophetic revelation, of the word, Debar, of Yahowah, Yahowah, our Eloah, God as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his Hayeh, existence and our Shalom, restoration, 2, El Yisrael, Israel, individuals who engage and endure with God, by the hand, Bar Yod, of Malachi, Malachi, messenger. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 1:1. As had been the case with Moses, Yeshua, Yirmiah, Hosea, Daud, and so many others, Malachi was both an active participant and a willing scribe, a very capable and sophisticated tool in the hands of the ultimate author. He was called to and accepted the greatest job in the universe. Malachi was selected by Yahowah for a reason. It could have been that he was closer to Yah than anyone on earth at the time. It may have been because Malachi was better prepared than most, having studied the Torah and prophets. And it may be nothing more than Yahowah enjoyed Malachi's company, and that would be reason enough. But since there were no prophets after him, 612 Malachi may have been selected by default, simply because he was the last Jew willing to listen to God and then speak on his behalf to his people. Since this was nearly 2,500 years ago, the long absence does not speak well, nor bode well, for the remnant of Israel. While Yahowah would not speak of his Torah until what we now refer to as the second chapter, he set the stage right from the outset. I have loved you, Ahab eth Atom, I have expressed my affection for you, says Amar, Yahowah, Yahowah. But, why, you have said, Amar, so how, Bar-Mar, in what way, have you expressed your affection for us, Ahab Anakdu? Is not Esau, Jacob's, La Jacob, brother, asks, Naum, Yahowah, Yahowah. And yet, why, I continue to love, Ahab, that which is associated with Jacob, eth Jacob, the father of the covenant who became Israel, Malachi 1-2, but, why, I hated, saying, I detested and loathed, expressing open hostility toward, that which is associated with Esau, eth Esau. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 1:3. Jacob embodies the covenant and is Israel. Esau represents those who have rejected it. He is thus disassociated from God and embodies religion rather than relationship. The persona of Esau is intriguing for a number of reasons. The Quran's Isa, who is said to be Jesus, is actually an Arabic transliteration of Esau. Much of Islam grows out of this mistaken identity, and since Yahowah specifically states that he hated Esau, this would be a serious problem for rational Muslims, assuming there are any. More telling still, the reason Yahowah came to despise Esau is because he was a hothead predisposed to violence. 613 He also married 2 of Ishmael's daughters and embraced his religion. That religion according to the Quran is Islam. This next declaration systematically serves to denounce Esau's choices, as well as the birthplace of Islam, the Quran's God, and Muhammad's scripture. And so, I have determined that, Simeth, I have appointed, caused, and positioned that, his prominent positions, Etharihu, will be ruinous and lifeless, Shemama, a desolate wasteland, and his inheritance, Eth-Nashalahu, the infirmity and disease associated with his wadi, dry waterway, will be 4, La, a venomous serpent, Tana, a jackal, a conniving and clever omnivore which stalks its prey under the cover of darkness, in a wasteland with questionable and rejected words, Midbar, a lifeless, barren desert of questionable testimony, a compound of midad, mad, minute, my, to reject, to deny, to leave, to waver away from, and to question Debar, the word. Malachi, messenger, Malachi 1:3. Islam was born in the desolate hill country above the Wadi of Petra south of the Dead Sea. In a lifeless cave in the darkness of night, Muhammad, while practicing pagan rituals, encountered the most conniving of serpents during Ramadan. The experience was so horrific he claimed to have had the life nearly squeezed out of him. He even admitted at the time that he had been demon-possessed. Chronologically, the first 5 verses of the Quran, a lifeless recital of questionable words, were revealed during this dreadful encounter. They are, read or recite, from the Hebrew word kara, from which the supposedly Arabic Quran derives its name, in the name of, from the Hebrew Bashem, your Lord, from the Hebrew Rab, who has created, from the Hebrew Bara. He has created man from the Hebrew Min, a clot. Read or recite, Kara, and your Lord, Rab, is the most 614 generous. Who has taught, from the Hebrew lamed, by the pen. He, the pen, has taught man that which he knew not. Quran 96, the clot, 1-5. As a testament to man's foolishness, it was upon this gibberish that the religion was born. Returning to Yahowah's revelation, Tana is not only defined as a serpent, and thus associated with Satan, but also means to retell a tale in a regrettable fashion. Tana speaks of the adversary's religious ploy, which was to recast the Babylonian Talmud, twisting it sufficiently to suit Muhammad's perverted agenda. Speaking of the many Muslim principalities which lie in ruins and are impoverished, and of the impending destruction of their mosques and desired prestige. When Edom says, Kyamar Edom Amar, while we have been temporarily splintered, Rashash, we were for the moment shattered, Paul perfect, while this was done to us, it won't last long, we will come back stronger than ever, Washu, we will recover, Kalim perfect, we will actually and continually believe in our restoration to power, and we will re-establish what was destroyed, Wabana Chabar. So, this is what Yahowah of the spiritual implements will reply, Koamar Yahowah Zaba, they may want to procreate and build, Banar, their desire may be to restore, Kalim perfect Yusuf, but I will demolish, Wa any Haras, I, myself, will tear down every structure and leave them in ruins, Kalim perfect. Then, they will announce of them, Wakara Lahem, they will read and recite of them, proclaiming of them, demonstrating Yahowah's disdain for the Quran, Kal perfect, they are an offensive and evil territory and people, Gul Risha Waha Am, with whom, Asher, Yahowah, has expressed his eternal displeasure and has denounced forevermore, Zam at 615 Olam, will always view as abhorrent. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 1:4. One of the many things I love about Yeh, is that he is open and honest. He has told us what he thinks and how he feels, bluntly, unequivocally, and without reservation. God hates Muhammad, Allah, their Quran, and Islam. As Yahowah's witness, I was initially assigned the responsibility of denouncing Islam, which I accomplished 20 years ago in Prophet of Doom. I learned that Allah is Satan seeking to be worshipped as if he were superior to Yahowah. The Quran is a twisted recompilation of Talmud stories in bastardized Hebrew. Esau plays a starring role as Issa, the Islamic Jesus. And Muslims have been trying to regain their former glory, when they were the world's most vicious barbarians, for 1,300 years. Allahu Akbar, the Islamic terrorist prayer, was intended to mean Allah is greater than Yahowah, while it actually conveys, Allah is a mouse. Yahowah's disdain for the abomination that became Islam is as obvious as words allow. And yet, I was always curious as to whether the most egregious star on earth, the dome of the rock sitting atop the Temple Mount, would be destroyed directly by Yahowah or if it would be swallowed by the earthquake preceding his return. And now we know, there is a special demolition plan for the most abominable of buildings. Malachi was the last of Yahowah's Hebrew messengers. And yet, his witness began as did mine, by exposing and condemning Islam. Yahowah never misses an opportunity to demonstrate that he is consistent. And speaking of being coherent, for those who may have been put off by the incessant demonization of rabbis and Judaism throughout this introduction to God, you may be comforted to know that this was written long after Prophet of Doom, denouncing Islam, and questioning 616 Paul, in which Christianity is thoroughly rebuked. When it comes to religion, Yahowah is an equal opportunity hater. While it would be rewarding to linger here a bit longer and ponder some of the many reasons Yahowah is frustrated with religion in general, and Islam in particular, the reason we turned to Malachi was to complete Yahowah's prophetic review of his Torah. And for that, we'll have to open the second chapter and consider God's final warning to the Lo'i, more commonly known as the Levitical priests. Temporarily disenfranchised by Yeh, their genealogical claim to authority would soon be usurped by covetous men known today as rabbis. Having denounced Islam, Yahowah turns his attention to Judaism. So now, Wa Otter for you all, El Atom, this specific addition, Ha-Mitzvah Ha-Joth, this authoritative and authorized stipulation, this direction regarding the relationship contract, priests, ministers, judges, and government officials, Ha-Kohen, the clerics, teachers, officers, counselors, and advisors, Malachi 2-1, if you do not listen, Lo Shama, and if you do not make it part of your thinking, Lo Sima Le Batum, you do not include this as part of your judgment and inclinations, to give. La Nathan, to bestow and offer, respect and value, Karbowed, attributing a very high status, to my name, La Shemeni, says, Amar promises, Yahowah, of the spiritual messengers, Zaba, then, Wa, I will dispatch, Shalak, I will send, upon you, Bar Ethatam, the curse of being denounced, Ethhamara, of execration, being repudiated and detested, becoming an anathema, from Ara, to afflict, injure, and reject. And I will renounce, Ara, I will curse by repudiating, your blessings, Eth Baraka Atom, your benefits. And also, Wagam, I will repudiate them. 617 Arahem, I will denounce them, because, KY, you have not incorporated this into your thinking or taken it to heart. Lo Simel Labatum, you have been unwilling to change your attitude. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:2. There are three words used throughout the Torah, Nabi, wa Mizmowr, which have both exceedingly positive and extremely negative connotations and implications depending upon their relationship with Yahweh or lack thereof. These include Elohim, God and gods, real and fake, Nabi, prophets who may, or may not, speak for Yahweh, and Kohen, priests, identifying those who initially served the people but changed such that they began to advance the underpinnings of what would become Judaism. So, when we find Elohim, Nabi, or Kohen used in a rebuke, Yahweh is denouncing religion. In this case, God is repudiating the negation of his name. And while this indictment is directed at the Kohen of Israel, every religious cleric past or present is a curse and is renounced by the Almighty for the same crime. Had Yahweh's name not been stolen from his testimony by religious Jews, there would be no Judaism, Christianity, or Islam today. Each of these religions would have been stillborn, without the ability to promote misnomers for God's one and only name. So let it be known and may it be clear, Yahweh renounces the religious. This was true then, 2,500 years ago, and it is so today. Some claim that Yahweh cannot be pronounced. Others say that it should not be used, even though it appears 7,000 times in the Hebrew text. Worse, in religious publications, proclamations, and citations, priests, rabbis, ministers, and imams have substituted Satan's title, the Lord, for God's name. And since this has not been a 618 victimless crime, religious leaders are being denounced by Yahweh. There are 6 Hebrew words, and many derivatives of them, which are superficially translated as curse in English Bibles. These include, Arah, Kalal, Allah, Kabab, Nakab, and Zam. Arah, however, upon which Mara is based, is the most common. In Dabarim, words, Deuteronomy, it is used in conjunction with its antonym, Barak, to bless, to reveal the contrast between rejecting and embracing the terms and conditions of the covenant. Arah's etymology is better retained in the sister language of Akkadian, the precursor of Aramaic, which reveals that it represents a snare which binds and confines. It speaks of dumb animals being separated, hemmed in, rendered powerless, and being unable to resist. The Arah are banned from interactions with other animals and condemned to an isolated and unproductive existence. This shading of Arah is advanced the first time it is used where, in Besith, in the beginning, Genesis 3:14, we read, "And Yahweh said to the serpent, Satan, because you have done this, misled others by corrupting my testimony, you will be cursed, separated and renounced, confined and repudiated, rendered powerless and be unable to resist, Arah, to a far greater extent than all domesticated animals and every beast of the field. Upon your belly, you shall go and dust you shall consume and devour all of the days of your life." Therefore, to be Arah is not only to be associated with Satan, it is to be ostracized, estranged, disassociated, and separated from God while being rendered powerless and denounced. The Arah are condemned and incarcerated without the ability to resist. In the common vernacular, to be Arah is to go to hell. 619 Based upon this passage, it would be fair to say that Yahweh is not only angry that his name has been disrespected, but also that the consequence will be grievous for the proponents of religion. Referring to Yahweh as the Lord is a very bad idea. Behold, I am going to disapprove and reprimand, Hine Enigar, pay attention to me because I am going to rebuke and convict, and I will insult because I loathe, you, your offspring, and that which you sow, La Otter Eth Hazera. And, Wah, I will smear, Zara, I will disperse and spread, from Zur, to estrange as foreign and adversarial, dung and fecal matter, Paresh, the waste product of bulls, feces and excrement, refuse and vomit, from Parosh, that which distinctly separates and shatters relationships, on your faces, Alpana atom, the waste product, Paresh, the refuse, vomit, and excrement, indeed, fecal matter, of your feasts and festivals, Chagatum, your celebrations and holy days, and so, deceived and deluded. It will carry you off with it, Wa Nasa, Nasha eth atom elhu, having been fooled by it, the closest masculine singular reference is Paresh, feces, will take you with it and to its God. Malachi, messenger, Malachi 2:3. This is harsh, visceral, and graphic, some might even say crude. We are not comfortable with the idea of God smearing feces on people's faces, even if they have agonized him to the point he loathes them. This is the most extreme version of rubbing it in. So, the question becomes, is this a reasonable response to the priests, clerics, ministers, teachers, judges, and government officials who have universally failed to listen to God and respect his name? Is it a fair depiction of the stench Yahweh perceives coming from religious holidays? 620 Before anyone criticizes Yahowah's reaction to mankind's ubiquitous failures in this regard, let's make certain we understand what Peresh actually means. It is first used in Shemoth, names, Exodus 29:14, where we read, "But the flesh of the bullock, his skin, and his dung, Peresh, you shall burn with fire apart from the camp as a sin offering." This association with the feces or waste product of a bull, the animal which is among Satan's most universal guises, is repeated in Kara, called out, Leviticus 4:11, 8:17, and 16:27. So if I may be so blunt, by using Peresh in association with mankind's religious festivals, Yahowah is literally calling religious celebrations bullshit. Rather than being crude, this is an adroit response, especially in this context. After all, in Bereshith, Genesis, Yahowah told us that the curse an individual endures for not listening to him, and failing to respect his name is to be goaded and controlled as if a dumb animal. This is precisely the way religion manipulates the faithful, which is to say that the religious will receive what they have dished out. Moreover, in the same book, we discover that the golden calf, which the Jews built as a religious idol, was not only a bull but, also, the most ubiquitous symbol for the chief deity in Babylon and Egypt. So, from God's viewpoint, the waste product the bull and religion share so much in common that Yahowah will be smearing feces on the faces of those who have chosen to wallow in bullshit. God will see believers as their religion has made them, repulsive. Those who are immersed in excrement are Nasha eth atom el hu, so deceived and deluded by it, they get carried away, taking it with them, as if it were godly. And whether the verb is diacritically marked Nasa or Nasha, it is the operative term in the third of three statements Yahowah etched on the first of two tablets. 621 You should not continue to deceive, nor should you tolerate or support delusions, lo Nasha, you should not habitually deploy or advance clever tricks to enrich yourself by indebting others, and should avoid beguiling people on an ongoing basis by consistently lifting up, promoting, or forgiving that which causes them to miss the way by forgetting that which is, kal imperfect, associated with, eth, the name and reputation, shem, the renown and proper designation, of Yahowah, Yahovah. An accurate presentation of the name of our Eloah, God as guided by his Torah, instructions regarding his higher existence, your God, Elohim, thereby advancing worthless and lifeless deceptions, La Ha-Shoah, errantly transliterated Shav, deploying that which advances devastating dishonesty, nullifying one's existence, leading to emptiness and nothingness, so as to advance deceitful and lifeless lies which are ineffectual and ruinous. 4. Indeed, KY, Yahowah, Yahovah, an accurate presentation of the name of our Eloah, God as guided by his Torah, instructions will not forgive or leave unpunished, lo Naka, as an ongoing admonition unconstrained by time, he will not purify nor pardon, he will not acquit nor free from guilt, he will not exempt from judgment nor will he consider innocent, peel imperfect, those who, ethasha, in association with others, consistently deceive, actually beguile, and habitually delude, Nasha. Religiously using deception to continually mislead, lifting up and advancing a clever, albeit dishonest, ruse, kal imperfect, in association with, eth, his name, shem, renown, reputation, and proper designation, to advance and promote, la, to bring into effect accordingly, vain and ineffectual lies which lead to lifelessness, nullifying one's existence, shoah, devastating deceptions which destroy, leading to nothingness and futilely by deceiving in a ruinous manner. Shemoth, names, Exodus 27. 622 Therefore, Yahowah is painting a graphic picture with Peresh, the waste product of bulls being smeared on the faces of the religious, calling it the residue of their high holy days, hoping that some pay attention, listen to him, and respect his Shem, Torah, Mikra, and Berith. If they remain unwilling, if they remain religious, they will suffer the consequence. We have been given fair warning. Before we move on to the next statement, let's let the conclusion of this admonition sink in. Yahowah is overtly associating religious celebrations, festivals, and feasts with excrement. Therefore, the common justification for observing pagan holidays is torn asunder. Christians will tell you that it does not matter that Christmas and Easter have pagan origins, and that they were observed by the Babylonians, Assyrians, Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans to honor their gods, because that isn't what they mean to them. Sorry, delusionists, but the only actual God just stated in no uncertain terms that those who participate in these religious holidays are disgusting. The same would hold true for Purim, Rosh Hashanah, and Hanukkah. And, Wah, you should know, Yada, you should be aware, recognize, acknowledge and understand, Kal perfect, that, indeed, KY, I have sent, Shalak, I have reached out and extended, dispatching, to you all, El Atom, the instructive conditions regarding what is being offered and expected in return, Eth Ha-Mitzvah Ha-Joth, the authoritative directions and written instructions which comprise the precepts of what is established, concerning the existence of, La Haya. The enduring characteristics which exist associated with my family-oriented covenant relationship, berith any, my nurturing relational agreement, binding promise, and solemn oath regarding my home, in association with the Lowy, the descendants of Jacob and Leah who were assigned the responsibility of serving as 623 priests and judges in conjunction with the Torah, Mikra, and Berith, from Lower, to attend to join with, and to unite. Says, Amar, promises, Yahowah, the proper pronunciation of Yahowah, our Eloah, God as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his existence and our Shalom, restoration, of the spiritual implements, Zaba. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:4. From dung to the covenant in one breath to the next, from God graphically describing what he most despises to addressing what he values most. The path from one to the other is via the Mizmowr, 5 instructive conditions which commence with walking away from the bullshit of religion. Therefore, to appreciate this declaration, we have to understand the special role the Lowy played in association with the Torah, and its Ark of the Covenant. Earlier in this introduction to God, we read, and so therefore, Moshe, wrote, inscribing a permanent copy of, Katab, this, the one and only Torah, Torah HaJoth, upon a scroll, documenting it in writing, Al-Sefer. Then, he gave it as a gift to, Nathan Hiel, the priests, Cohen, the sons, Ben, of Lowy, those lifting up, Nasser, Yahowah, Ark, Aaron, of the covenant, Berith, and to all, El Shirl, of the elders, Zakan, of Yisrael, Dabarim, words 31-9, and, Moshe, provided instruction, Zawa, for them, Ethem, saying, La at the conclusion of, Minkes, 7, Sheba, years, Shana, during, Bar, the eternal witnesses to the appointed meeting times, Mode, of the year, Shana, of freeing slaves and releasing debtors from all of their obligations, Shemitah, during the Chag, festival feast, Bar Chag, of Sukkah, shelters, Hasukkah, Dabarim, words 31-10, 624 with, Bar, the arrival, Bo, of all, Shirl, Yisrael, individuals who engage and endure with God, Yisrael. Appearing, Ra, before the presence of, Panah, Yahowah, your God, Elohim Otter, in the place, Bar HaMakam, which, Asher, he has actually and consistently chosen, Basha, for you to encounter, read, and recite, Kara, this Torah, teaching and guidance, Torah HaJoth, in the presence of, Nejd, all, Shirl, Yisrael, so that they will hear it, Bar Erzanhem. Dabarim, words 31-11. Gather and assemble, Kahal, the family, Ha'am, the men, Ha'ish, the women, Ha'isha, and the children, Ha'tap, along with those among you from different ethnicities, Wajah Otter, who, as a result of the relationship, Asher, are within your communities, Barsha Otter, so that, Laman, they will actually and continually hear, Shama, and so that, Laman, they will learn and be properly guided, Lamed, and so, they will revere and respect, Yahowah, their God, Elohim Hem. Then, they should be observant, Shema, thereby actively engaging in and demonstrably acting upon, La'asar, all, Shirl, of the words, Dabar, of the Torah, source of teaching and guidance, Torah HaJoth. Dabarim, words 31-12. And, it came to exist, higher, just as, Moshe, completely finished, Kala, writing, La Katab, the words, Dabarim, of this Torah, Torah HaJoth, upon a written scroll, Al-Sefer, such that the eternal and restoring witness was perfect and complete, Ad Tamam Hem. Then, Moshe, instructed, Zawa, the Lowy, Ha-Loim, who lifted up and carried, Nasser, Yahowah, Ark, Aaron, of the covenant, Berith, by saying, Lama, accept and grasp hold of, Lakek, the written scroll, Sefer. Of this, the Torah, Torah Hazeh, and 625 place it, Wasimeth Hu, alongside, Minsad, Yahowah, your gods, Elohim Atom, Ark, Aaron, of the covenant, Berith. And it will always exist, Wahaya, there, Sham, with you, Bar Otter, as an eternal witness of the restoring testimony, Ad. Dabarim, words, Deuteronomy 31:24-26. The Lowy were employed to convey Yahowah's Torah to God's children. Their mission was to share and explain his teaching regarding the covenant to all who would listen so that others would be able to engage in this relationship in accordance with the Torah's terms and conditions. It was their mission to serve those attending the Mod Mikra so that they might enjoy the benefits of the covenant as God provided them. They were also called to adjudicate disputes between God's children, once again in accord with the Torah's directions. Ultimately, they were the guardians of the Torah and its covenant, which means that they were tasked with the prospect of affirming that the Torah was the place to find and embrace Yahowah. They had, however, forgotten all of this. The corruption of Lowi to Levi, and Levite is funny in a way. The people entrusted with proclaiming Yahowah's name had the pronunciation of their family name changed by the rabbis who ultimately usurped their authority. The rabbinical Masoretes not only changed the name of their foes, the Lowi to Levite, they would go on to conceal and corrupt the very name of God which the Lowi had been sworn to protect. If we turn to ancient Hebrew for further elucidation, we discover that the only letter in Lowi which does not also appear in Yahowah's name is A, lamed. This character was depicted by way of a shepherd's staff and thus described the mission of the Lowi which had been to lead, direct, teach, and protect God's people. 626 Turning to the common letters, we are reminded that the Wah, which was drawn in the form of a tent peg, signified the idea of adding to and increasing the size of Yahowah's family, and the Yod was formed in the shape of an arm and hand, demonstrating the authority and power of God, and those representing him, to do whatever work was required. Still speaking to Lowi, and his descendants regarding their stewardship of the covenant, God said, "My covenant, Berith Eni, my family-oriented relationship, was with him, Yahowah, existed with him, speaking of Lowi, as the source of lives, renewal, nourishment, and growth, Harchaim, staying alive and prospering, and as the means to reconciliation, salvation, and satisfaction, Shalom, peace, favor, welfare, safety, health, tranquility, contentment, friendship, companionship, and blessings. So, I gave these to him, Wa Nathan Hem Lahu, to inspire respect, La Mora, to encourage reverence, and he admired and revered me, Eni. But now, because of, Wa Min, the presence, Pana, of my name, Shemeni, he, Hu, is dismayed, discouraged, and destroyed by it, Shatteth Hu, he dreads it, is panicked and confused by it, even shattered and frightened. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:5. Should it not have been obvious, it is now. According to God, his Berith, family-oriented covenant relationship exists as Harchaim, the source of lives and means to Shalom, reconciliation and salvation. It would be hard to find four words more important than these, Berith Che Shalom. There is no greater gift than eternal life, no more valuable benefit than reconciliation, and both exist as a direct result of the Torah's presentation of the covenant. 627 inches this statement, we find that the oft-repeated notion that religious Jews respect Yahowah's name is untenable. People don't conceal, change, or corrupt something they revere. If Yahowah's name were respected by rabbis, they wouldn't condemn those who use it. The priests, now rabbis, are confused by it and have sought to destroy it. While he had already done so in his Torah, Yahowah once again defined the mission of the Lowi. Truthful and reliable, Emeth, trustworthy and dependable, unchanging and enduring, Torah, teaching, instruction, guidance, and direction, Torah, education, training, leadership, and intentions, were in, higher bar, his mouth, bar pehu, speaking of Lowi doing his job, and injustice, wa Allah, that which deviates from the truth and becomes harmful and damaging to others, was not found, lo matzah, was not discovered, on his lips, bar safahu. In reconciliation and salvation, bar shalom, in peace, satisfaction, favor, and friendship, and by being correct, fair, and just, honest and straightforward, wa bar mishor, in justice, being right, in complete accord with the standard, being on the level and honorable, from yashar, being right, straightforward, and agreeable, he walked, holak, he followed the path and journeyed through life, with me, etheni. And, therefore, a great many, wa rab, he turned away from and restored, shub, he turned around and changed, bringing back, from, min, corruption and distortion, aun, a1, from the iniquity and depravity of twisting and perverting the truth. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:6. God is reminiscing, pining for the good old days when the Lowi were Cohen and the truth was known. Then Rab 628 wasn't a pejorative. But, alas, the rabbis have usurped the role of the priests and have led the nation astray. Did you notice the remarkable concluding statement? Yahowah gave the Lowi credit for changing the minds of many of his wayward children and for bringing them back home. That is generous, considering that all they had actually done was relay what he had revealed and promised. And yet, from God's perspective, their willingness to share his means to achieve reconciliation was sufficient to share the credit. Along these lines, if I may get personal, I imagine the expression on Yahowah's face when he greets one of the many souls who have come to know him through this presentation of his Torah. I perceive his willingness to allow me to peek in on these homecomings and witness the twinkle in his eyes, the smile on his face, and his loving embrace. It is all too wonderful for words to adequately express. No matter how flawed and unqualified, even undeserving we may be, Yah sees us as his partners. That is so long as we prepare and then engage and advance his mission. Indeed, KY, the lips, Safa, of the priest, Cohen, the minister, the advisor, the judge, the teacher, and the official, should be kept focused upon, Shema, should consistently observe, consider, and explore, knowledge which leads to understanding, Dorth, the skillful application and processing of reliable information resulting in comprehension. The Torah's, teaching, Torah, instruction, direction, and guidance, should be sought, Bakosh, should be learned and procured, from, Min, his mouth, Pei Hu, because, KY, he, Hu, is the messenger, Malach, the envoy and representative who informs by conveying the word, the witness who announces, serving as the herald, of Yahowah, Yahowah, our Eloah, God 629 as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his Hayeh, existence and our Shalom, restoration, of the spiritual implements, Zaba, of the heavenly messengers. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:7. Rather than ask God for his guidance in our lives, why not simply do as he has requested? There is no greater calling than serving as one of Yahowah's messengers. And the job is open because no one is fulfilling the role of the Lo'i Cohen. The only qualifications required are to respect Yahowah, to understand his Torah, teaching, and to have the desire to share it accurately. And by the way, when a man named Malachi, my messenger speaks of serving Yahowah as a messenger, he knows what he is talking about. Sadly, most of those who claim to be serving God are actually serving themselves. But, why, you all, otter yourselves, have turned away from the way and corrupted the path, Shub Minha Derek, you have rejected and forsaken the way and you have reconfigured your version of the path. You have caused many to stumble, Kashal Rab, you have made numerous falter, fall, and be brought down. Through such Torah, instruction, Baha Torah, through the teaching and those directions, speaking of the oral law of the Talmud, you have corrupted and perverted, Shakath, you have marred and blemished, ravaged and besmirched, the covenant, Berith, the family-oriented relationship agreement with the Lo'i, Ha-Lo'i, for those who unite, affirms, Amar, Yahowah, Yahowah, an accurate presentation of the name of Eloah, God as guided by his Torah, instructions regarding his higher existence, of the spiritual implements, Zaba, of the many heavenly messengers. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:8. 630 Jewish religious leaders have positioned their oral law, their Talmud and the Mishnah, as commentaries on the Torah, but according to Yahowah, they are corruptions of it, besmirching and perverting his Torah. Rather than promote the way, they cause Jews to stumble and miss the way. Rather than embrace the covenant, they blemish it. So therefore, Wagam, I, myself, will give you over, Nathaneth Atom, I will appoint that which is associated with you, to be despised and held in contempt, Bazar, to be regarded as worthless and evil, disrespected and contemptible, in addition to being humiliated, Washafal, as well as humbled, seen as repulsive and lowly, by all of, La Shirl, the people, Ha'am, the family, considered as similar to, Ka, a mouth, Pei, which, Asher, has not observed, Ein Shema, has not examined, explored, or considered, my ways. Eth Derek Eni, and is instead lifting up and promoting, Nasa, elevating and exalting, the presence of partiality in your teaching, Hanabaha Torah, your appearance in your instructions, guidance, and directions. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:9. God considers those who promote an agenda which is in conflict with his to be foul-mouthed. He will hold them in contempt. He will also humble those who promoted themselves as Rabbi, great. Responding to all that Yahowah has revealed, Malachi then questions his people. Is there not, Ha-Lo, one Father, Ekadab, for all of us, La Shirl and Aknu? Is there not, Ha-Lo, one God, Ekad-El, who created us, Bara Akhu? Why, Madua, for what reason, are we so unfaithful and untrustworthy, Bagad? Have we betrayed this trust and acted treacherously, committing spiritual adultery while engaged in religious dress-up? 631 Each individual, Ish, with his brother, Ba-Hu, has defiled and dishonored, Shaul, has profaned and desecrated, has violated and polluted, the covenant, Berith, the family-oriented relationship agreement, of our fathers, Abanaknu. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:10. To defile and dishonor the covenant, as Judaism has done, is a death sentence. It is not survivable. and few things violate the covenant more than the religious arguments which permeate the Talmud. They are only matched in betrayal by the anti-Torah epistles which comprise the New Testament. But why? Do they believe Yahowah is a deadbeat dad who is failing his people? Do they believe Yahowah's creation is sufficiently faulty to desert God and seek another? Do they believe that Yahowah's revelation was insufficient and that he failed to speak clearly and consistently? Are the gifts of eternal life, being perfected and then adopted into his family while being enriched and empowered, inadequate? Do they believe answering his invitations to meet is too much to ask? Is reading a burden? Is learning deplorable? What's the problem? Do you not like God? Do you honestly think that the rabbis have something better to offer? How has life turned out for Jews these past 2,500 years estranged from Yahowah? Do you want more of the same? Are you willing to die under the star of Simon Bar Kokhba rather than live with the son named Daud? Now as we turn the page and conclude this introduction to God, I would like to share two additional 632 proclamations from the second chapter of Malachi. They lead to a rather profound announcement in Malachi 3 and 4. Yahowah, Yahowah, the beloved of Yah, now known as Judah and Jews, has been untrustworthy and spiritually unfaithful, vagged, has engaged in spiritual adultery and betrayal while playing disgusting religious dress-up. A detestable and repulsive religious abomination, Watawabah, a reprehensible, loathsome, and abhorrent form of worship which is troubling and false, confusing and misleading, has been committed, asar, is performed, engaged in, and acted upon, in Yisrael, Bar Yisrael, within Israel, and in Yerushalayim, Wa Bar Yerushalayim, within Jerusalem. Indeed, KY, Yahowah, Yahowah, Judah, Jews, has defiled and profaned, Chol, has dishonored and treated with contempt, the set-apart place, Kodesh, the sanctuary which separates and distinguishes, making special and dedicated, of Yahowah, Yahowah, written as directed by his Torah, teaching, which, to provide the benefits of the relationship, Asher, he loves, Ahab, he adores. Further, Wah, he has married and is owned by the Lord Baal, Baal, his familial relationship is governed by Baal, who is in control of, the house, Baith, the home and family, from Forkh whereas the Mount reads Bath, daughter, of an illegitimate god, El Nekar, a foreign deity. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 2:11. And so you have wearied, Yaga, therefore, you have worn out and exhausted, troubling, the opening conjunction is from Forkh, God, El, the Almighty, from Forkh whereas the Mount reads Yahowah, with your words, Bar Dabar Atom, with your statements. 633 But you say, Wal Ma, in what way, Bar Ma, have we exhausted and troubled him, Yaga, have we caused him to gasp, be wearied and worn out? By you saying, Bar Ma Atom, by you claiming, all of those who engage in, Shurlasar, everyone who acts and capitalizes upon, profiting from, shouting with fellow countrymen, no matter how wrong, Ra, the loud and boisterous proclamations of religious associates, even if they are errant, benefit, as if they are moral and good, Tob, are pleasing and agreeable, in the sight, Bar Ein, from the viewpoint and perspective, of Yahowah, Yahowah, as directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his higher, existence, because he is pleased by them, Wa Bahem Hu Chafetz, because this is what he wants. Or, alternatively, where is, the God, Elohim, of the Mishpat, who decides what is right, vindicating, convicting, and just, Ha-Mishpat, who exercises good judgment regarding the means to resolve disputes, to ponder the implications of Shafot, deciding what is right. Malachi 2:17. Therefore, for this reason, from Forkh, behold, I am going to send out, Hinei Shalak, pay attention and look to me, because here and now I am going to reach out and dispatch, Cal participle, literally and demonstrably, actually and actively direct, my messenger, Malach Eni, my representative who, as a herald, will interpret and convey my message, commissioned to declare what I have to say, and, Wah, he will prepare, clearly mark, and highly regard, Panna, he will behold, perceive, and respect, turning toward and making ready the means to approach, Peel perfect, at this moment in time he will show, the way, Derek the path, route, and journey, before me, regarding my appearance and approaching my presence, La Panna Eni, to face me. 634 Then, suddenly and straightway to open eyes and minds, Wa Pitom, in a relative instant to create an opportunity to be open and receptive, they will arrive to pursue the harvest, Bo, he or they will come for an inclusive return, Cal imperfect, he or they will continually come, Forkh has hem, they while the Mount reads Hu, for his palatial home, El Hekel Hu, to his royal residence, sanctuary, and house of his God, from Yakol, the place to prevail and endure. Be empowered and accomplish the mission, the upright one, down, the master of the house, the most capable leader, and the one who provided the foundation for the tabernacle, whom, Asher, to show the way to walk to receive the benefits of the relationship, you, yourselves, have sought, Atam Makosh, you have inquired about, asked and searched for, Peel participle, along with, Wah, in addition to, the messenger, Malach, the representative who, as a herald, will interpret and convey the message, who is commissioned to declare the account, of the covenant, Habarith, of the family-oriented relationship, in whom and for which, Asher, in whom, addressing the down, and for which, speaking of the Barith, to show the way to get the greatest joy out of life, you, Atom, have desired, Shafets, have wanted and preferred. So pay attention, Hine, behold, he is arriving and will be returning to pursue the harvest, Hubo, he is coming, Hu, he is found in Forkshi in addition to the verb being scribed in the third person masculine singular, promises, Amar, and affirms, Yahowah, Yahowah, our Eloah, God has directed in his Torah, teaching regarding his Ha-Yeh, existence and our Shalom, restoration, of the spiritual implements, Zaba, of the heavenly messengers. Malachi 3-1. So, who, Wamai, can comprehend and endure, Kuel, can understand and seize upon, properly calculate 635 and support, Peel participle, this day, Eth Yaum, when he arrives, Bo Hu, of his return to pursue his harvest, and who, Wamai, will be present, standing and remaining, Harmod, will endure, established and alive, continuing to be upright, beside his appearance, Bar-Rahu, when he comes into view, because indeed, Hu, will be similar to, Ka, will be like, a refiner's fire, Esh-Zareth, a means to enlighten, purify, and test, a flaming light which purges the darkness, and akin to, Wakar, an alkali detergent which cleanses, Borith Kabash, a water-soluble cleansing agent and soap for washing. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 3:2. There is nothing more upsetting to God than being religious because they are unthinking and untrustworthy. In particular, the Haredim are engaged in acts of worship which Yahowah detests. God finds Judaism to be repulsive and reprehensible, confusing and misleading his people. Throughout Israel and Yerushalayim, religious Jews have profaned and defiled the place Yahowah loves, the Kodesh which is so special to him. Worst of all, religious Jews are cavorting with the devil according to Yahowah. They are now a Jezebel, honoring the Lord, Jezebel with her host of prophets advancing the fertility cult of Baal and Asherah. Yahowah sees no distinction between Jezebel and Judaism. They are the house, family, and home of a God so illegitimate that his misguided people are worshipping the adversary, Satan. Yahowah has witnessed more than he can endure. The endless profusion of words spewed out of the mouths of rabbis over the past 2 millennia has tested his patience. The words, scribed in the Talmud, Mishnah, and Zohar have irritated the Almighty to the point of retribution. 636 much shouting, too many false claims, too many lies, and far too much religion. That is God's view, his perspective on the institution he most despises. As for their parting salvo of the religious, I can assure you that we find the God of the Mishpat, who decides what is right, vindicating, convicting, and just, right here in the words of his prophets. He has not been replaced by rabbis or disappeared into the heavens. And frankly, he is exceedingly disappointed, even disgusted. Moreover, as a result of what he has witnessed in the past 2,500 years, Yahowah is doing something he has not done previously and may never do again. He has chosen to work through a witness rather than a prophet, and thus a Gawi, since there are no longer any qualified or willing Yahweh. The difference between the two, a Nabi and a Malach, is significant only with regard to the method of their inspiration. The actual message is the same, although a prophet is held to a much higher, indeed, exacting standard. A Nabi, like Moses, Daud, and Yeshua, is shown glimpses of the past and future by Yahowah, who speaks audibly to them and through them, such that they reveal things we would not otherwise know. A Malach, like the Chota and Nakri, Yahowah's Bashar, herald, can explore what God revealed through his prophets and interpret the message they have previously conveyed such that it resonates with today's audience. In this case, and for this reason, a Malach is a better choice than a Nabi, even though a Nabi is superior in every other way. Rather than reveal something new regarding his disgust for Judaism, and his frustration with his people, Yahowah wants Yahweh, Jews to realize that he has already excoriated them throughout the prophets, explaining his position so clearly and repetitively that even a Gawi could understand it. 637 Therefore, without the need for a Nabi or the use of a Yahweh, Yahowah has dispatched a Malach, messenger to explain his mishpat. He is clearly delineating the path Yahowah is following so that, when God arrives, those who are willing to listen are prepared to approach him. Yahowah's messenger is here to open eyes and minds, and fill both with the truth. He has come to pursue the harvest, not only of Towrah but also of Kippurim. His mission is to help fill Yahweh's palatial home and royal residence, the covenant, with the Yahweh loving and Torah observant. He is also here to announce the arrival of the upright one, the master of the house, Israel's most capable leader, the beloved Mashio and Melech, Daud. The messenger of the covenant will proclaim the return of the Son of God, of the man who most exemplifies the Berith. Most assuredly, Daud is returning and Yahweh has chosen a herald to announce his arrival. But will you be ready for him? Do you understand what God is saying? Will you endure to witness his return? Will you be among those present, standing before him? Yes, Yahweh is also returning on Yom Kippurim to reconcile his covenant relationship with Israel and Yahudah. But he is not coming alone, and it is his nature to share the experience and stage with those he respects, enjoys, and, indeed, loves. On this day, Daud will not only be the son serving at God's side, but he will also be as God, as brilliant as the sun, representing the ultimate source of light as our Savior. While this would be a wonderful place to conclude this introduction to God, there are 3 additional statements I would like to share, one which represents the final mention of the Torah by a prophet. 638 From the days, La Min Yaumim, of your ancestors, Ab Atom, your fathers you have turned away from, so men, you have rejected and forsaken, my clearly communicated written prescriptions for living, Quikeni, my inscribed recommendations and prescribed thoughts regarding an allocation of a share of the agreement. You have not observed them, while Lo Shema, you have not focused upon or considered them. Choose to return to me, Shub Eleni, change and come back to me, Kal imperative, and I will choose to return to you and restore you, Wa Shub El Atom, I will come back and transform you, Kal imperfect cohortative promises, Amar, affirms, Yahweh, a transliteration of Yahowah as instructed in his Torah, teaching, of the spiritual implements, Zaba, of the vast array of heavenly messengers. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 3:7. This is the report we have read throughout the prophets. They are all speaking with one voice, Yahweh's. The chosen people have chosen to reject God. They have turned away from him, his Shem, Torah, Mishpat, Mizmowr, Kuk, Mikrei, and Berith. They have snubbed the Almighty, and yet, all they have to do to be restored to fellowship is to return home. Yahweh will treat every Jew as they have treated him. Choose him and he will choose you. As humans created in the image of our God, we began life in the Gan Eden. Therefore, Sukkah, shelters, where we are invited to camp out with our Father, represents our return to the garden and to our God. The way home begins with Passover and unyeasted bread, where we become immortal and are prepared to meet our Maker. Yahweh's way passes, through the day of reconciliations, where Israel's relationship with Yahweh is restored. 639 The ensuing text continues to denounce Judaism, and especially the rabbis, whom Yahweh calls arrogant, deceitful, money-grubbing, hypocrites. This is followed by God's solution, one which you are likely reading. Then, at that time, as, thereupon, at this distant and vitally important moment, those who respect and profoundly value, those who revere and are inspired by, Yahweh, Yahowah, will convey the word, speaking and writing, Dabar, will communicate the message, Nephil perfect, those communicating the word convey and receive the benefits at this moment in time, as an individual, Ish, a man, to his countrymen, El Riahu, to his friends and associates as well as against his errant, and irrational country. From Forkshi, and, Yahweh, Yahowah, will listen attentively, and accepting what he hears as true, he will respond by assisting this messenger, Kashab, will receive the entire message, hear everything which is said, and will regard it favorably, acting to enable its dissemination because of its accuracy. Hyphal imperfect, Yahweh is enabling the messenger as his understudy and is doing so consistently and continually. And he will continue to listen, Washama, he will actually and genuinely, consistently and continually, hear what is said, Kal imperfect, such that, a book, Sefer, a body of literature comprised of written documentation containing the official record of remembrance, systematically conveying a word-by-word recollection of the previous communication, Zikaron, to recall and bring to mind, to make foremost in one's thinking, commemorating the right inheritance, conveying what is accurate and important. Mentioning and memorializing what should be remembered, will be written, Katab, will be inscribed and composed as an enduring and indelible statement, Nephil imperfect, will be written as a continuous process over time with Yahweh, 640 before his appearance, La Panahu, to approach his presence, for those who respect and admire, La Yer, for those who genuinely value and revere, Yahweh, Yahowah, and who consider, account for, and who have determined the merit of, while La Chasab, who impute meaning and value to, thoughtfully and logically contemplating every nuance of, Kal participle, his name, Shem Hu, his personal and proper designation. Malachi 3:16. As a result, Laman, therefore, it stands to reason, from Forkshi, they will be mine, Wahaya any, promises, Amar, Yahowah of the vast array of spiritual implements, Yahowah Zaba. Approaching the day, Laha Yam, nearing and for the time, when, to show the way to receive the benefits of the relationship, Asher, when, to reveal the proper path to get the most out of life, I will engage, acting in a demonstrable way, to prepare my most treasured possession, someone whom I value and hold especially dear, Asar, I will do what needs to be done, working to develop and celebrate my affection for that which I treasure, Cal participle. And so, I will protect and spare them, delivering them from harm, while heaping favor upon them recognizing the scope of the challenges before them, Chamal Alhem, I will demonstrate my appreciation and enduring love, even commiserate with them, especially considering the difficult task of showing compassion and under these conditions, similar to the way, Ka Asher, according to the manner of a joyful relationship when, an individual, Ish, favors, spares, and protects, assuring the safety while empathizing with, Chamal Al, is especially generous and affectionate toward, even lenient and patient considering the challenging circumstances, demonstrating his appreciation and love, while being responsible for, his son, Ben-Hu, his child, who works 641 with him, Har-Badeth-Hu, who serves alongside him. Malachi 3:17. So return, Washub, then come back and be restored, and you will see, Warah, and you will witness, the distinction and understand the difference between, Bayan, comprehending the dissimilarity of, the one who is right, Zadik, the one who is vindicated because he is upright and corrected, as opposed to those who are wrong, La Rasha, compared to those who are incorrect and unrighteous, guilty for having been errant, understanding the dissimilarity concerning, Bayan, comprehending the distinction between, the one who works with God, Abad Elohim, the one who serves the Almighty, in contrast to the way of, La Asher, those who do not serve him, Lo Abad Hu, those not working with him. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 3:18. Yahowah is concluding his final revelation to his people by explaining how he is going to uphold his last witness. He, and those serving with him, will write the words his children need to hear. The remnant of Yisrael, the last generation of Yahweh, will be offered one final reminder. Yahowah is announcing that he is a proud father working alongside a devoted, albeit adopted, son, one engaged in his father's business. This prophecy incorporates an interesting blend of singular and plural pronouns, suggesting that one man will inspire others and that collectively they will engage to communicate the word of God in advance of Yahowah's return. And should he be addressing Yada Yahowah, this is what has occurred. On Towrah in 2001, I was alone, and I continued to work by myself for a number of years. Then there was another, and another, as the Covenant family began to grow. Soon, we were working together on this project, with editors, fact-checkers, researchers, publishers, web designers, publicists, co-hosts, and social media contributors, serving our Father on behalf of his 642 people. Just as Yahowah had foretold, one would become many, and the many would work as one. Through it all, our mission has been to perceive and understand, then share the distinction between what is right and what is wrong, between working with Yahowah and against him, and showing the difference between engaging in the covenant relationship and being religious. It is something Yahowah wants his people to understand so that they are on the correct side of this divide prior to his return. Second only to Yada, knowing, we are devoted to Bayan, understanding the word of our God. This brings us to the final mention of the Torah by a prophet. And here, we find Yahowah trying to garner his people's attention one last time. What follows are the final words Yahowah would inspire a prophet to share with us. They follow what we have just read. Pay attention, because indeed, Kyhine, a day is coming, Ha-Yam Bo, a time is approaching and will arrive, burning, bar, combusting and consuming, like a blazing light and furnace, Ka-Ha-Tanyo, similar to a lamp, a brilliant luminary, even an oven, and then it will occur, Wahaya, it will transpire, that all of the presumptuous and arrogant, Shirl Zed, everyone with an inflated view of their worth, the haughty, contemptuous, and disrespectful, as well as all of those engaging in and acting upon, Washirl Asar. And everyone profiting from and celebrating, that which is wrong, in violation of the standard, and thus religious, Risha, the unethical and immoral who are contemptible, will be set ablaze as if they are stubble, Kashwala Hathethem, will be a fire, consumed in the ensuing conflagration as useless chaff. This day which is approaching, Ha-Yam Ha-Bo, this time which is coming, affirms, Amar, Yahowah of the heavenly messengers, Yahowah Zaba, when, as a benefit of those in the relationship, Asher, there will 643 be nothing left of their roots and branches, Lo Azab Lahem Shorshwa Naf, there will be nothing remaining of their source, their basis, their family line, or what has stemmed from them. Malachi 4:1. However, for those of you who value, revere, and respect, La Atam Yer, for those of you who appreciate and admire, my name, Shemeni, my personal and proper designation, the brilliant orb, Shemesh, the most illuminating source of light, even akin to the brilliance of the sun, of righteousness, Zardaka, of being right, of affirming and vindicating, of abundant enrichment and great prosperity, and of honest counsel and enduring salvation, will rise, ascending and appearing brilliantly, Zarek. She will induce growth, beginning in the east, shining brightly, Cal-perfect third-person feminine singular, with healing and restoration in her wings, Wa Mafi Barkanaf high, with renewal, and deliverance in the hem of her garment. Liberated and withdrawn, you shall come out, Yatsa, as part of an exodus, you will come forth, and leap about, frolicking, push, playfully springing about, like one who has come full circle and who is now encapsulated, acting like a calf, Egel, like one who has come around and is now shielded, singular in Forkji, in the stable, Marbet, secure and protected. Malachi 4:2. Then, you will provide counsel and advice while trampling, Wa Ozus, 8 you will issue guidance and a warning while crushing, Forkji reads counsel while the mount says trample, the religious criminals, Rasha, the misleading and erroneous, the ungodly and unethical, the vexing and duplicitous, for they will be, Ky higher, ashes under the soles of your feet, Ephataketh Kaf Regel Atom, on the day, Wa Ha Yaum, when, for the benefit of the relationship, Asher, I will act, Eniasar, I will engage. Doing what must be done, Cal participle, says, Amar, Yahowah of the spiritual implements, 644 Yahowah Zaba. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 4:3. These three statements, along with the three which follow, comprise Yahowah's final declaration to his people prior to his return as a brilliant light, enlightening, and empowering his children while devouring his foes. Then on behalf of the covenant, and for the well-being of his family, Yahowah will incinerate all vestiges of the religious. Nothing will be left of the individuals and institutions which have tormented his people. For those taking the opposite approach, for those accepting what is right and forsaking what is wrong, who have come to value Yahowah's name rather than disavow it, they will meet their mother, the Ruach Kodesh. She will illuminate this world while restoring the lives of those living within it. Having come full circle, and now having returned to live with Yahowah in Eden, encapsulated in the light of the set-apart spirit, the covenant's children will frolic and play. We have been Yatsa, liberated from a degenerative world, having successfully journeyed through these words as part of the final Yatsa, Exodus. We are home this day, celebrating Yahowah's commitment to making everything right again. Remember, Zakar, choose to recall and proclaim, Kal imperative, the Torah, teaching and guidance, Torah, the instructions and directions of Moshe, one who draws out, my servant, Ebed Eni, co-worker and associate, who revealed the benefits of the relationship, Asher. I instructed and directed him, Zawa Ethu, I appointed him and placed him in charge, commissioning him, in Korib, Bar Korib, with the knife's edge for cutting and separating, with the sharp engraving tool for writing, with the clearly communicated written 645 prescriptions on how to live and be allocated a share of the relationship, cook, and the means to execute good judgment, especially regarding the resolution of disputes, Wa Mishpat, on behalf of all, Al-Shurl, Yisrael. Individuals who engage and endure with God. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 4:4. Life is better and lasts longer when we choose to recall and proclaim Yahowah's Torah, teaching and guidance as it was conveyed to us through Moses. We embrace the Berith, covenant through the Cook and are perfected by making the right decision regarding the Mishpat. It is how we become Yisrael, individuals who engage and endure with God. Joining the Malach, witness to prepare the way for the arrival of father and son, Yahowah and Daud, is the prophet who convicted Jezebel along with those who spoke for the Lord Baal. It is not a coincidence. Behold, Hine, pay attention, I am going to send out, Anoki Shalak, I will dispatch, to you, La Atameth, Yer is God, Elijah, the prophet, Ha-Nabi, before the arrival and presence, La Panabo, in association with the harvest and appearance of the greatest and most important, Ha-Gadol, the most empowering, the most awesome and respected, Wa Ha-Yer, Day, Yam, of Yahowah. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 4:5. Yer will be joining Yahowah's aforementioned witness on Pesach in year 5997 year, doing so 3 years before God's return on Yom Kippurim. Yahowah's arrival will mark the single most important day in human history. Hope to see you there. Then, he will return and restore, Washub, the thinking and judgment, Labab, the inclinations and thought processes, of fathers toward children, Abal Benim, and the inclinations and thought process of 646 children, Walate Benim, the thinking and judgment of sons, toward their fathers, Al-Abhem, lest, pen, or otherwise if not, I come, wo, I arrive, and momentarily smite, Naka, I strike, Hyphal perfect, that which is associated with the land, Eth-ha Eres, such that the most set-apart place becomes forbidden to the commonplace, because that which was banned for being profane will be destroyed, Harim, the place separated and devoted to God would have to be temporarily abandoned. Malachi, my messenger, Malachi 4:6. What value is a home without family? And should Yahweh return to an empty house because we failed in our mission to awaken his people, rather than endure Israel abandoned and defiled, God will place it off limits for a while. Fortunately, that is not how this story ends. There will be a remnant, and Yahweh will come home. The relationship will be reconciled, and God's people will be restored. Some children will listen to their father at long last. Will you be among them? Without the Torah, there is no covenant. With the Torah, there is only one covenant. Without the Torah, nothing is known of Adam and the Garden of Eden, of Towrah, or of the ploy perpetrated by the adversary to confuse them. We would be unaware of this joyous place which awaits our return and not understand why humankind has been estranged from it these past 6,000 years. Without the Torah, Abraham and Sarah are unknowable, as are Yitzhak and Jacob, Hagar, and Ishmael. Nothing would be known of the promises 647 Yahowah offered Abraham which now serve as the basis of the covenant. Without the Torah, the conversations Yahowah had with his children regarding their relationship with him, would be nothing more than fading sound waves which would have stopped reverberating nearly 3,500 years ago. Without the Torah, there would be no way to engage in a relationship with God. Without the Torah, we would know nothing of the Hebrew slaves in Miriam or of the events which led up to their miraculous Yatzah, Exodus. Sure, the archaeological record of these events is crying out from the desert sands, but without the Torah, no one would have bothered to look. Without the Torah, Yahowah would be unknown, life would be short, and there would be no means to salvation. But with the Torah, every relevant question is answered, and we can approach our God, living forever as part of his family.